What's happening, everyone? TomGorian here. Welcome to episode number 12 of the F125 My Team Career Mode series. Today we're getting ready for race number 12 of the first season of the Mongolian to Glory in Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And yeah, I'm not really feeling confident about this race. I'm not really used to this circuit as much as I want, so pace will be a little bit more slower compared to what we usually are, especially in the series. There is all the accolades we've done so far, and there is the history of the team so far. 1 podium finish, 1 race win, 1 fast lap, 6 top 10 finishes, 19 race finishes, 2 pole positions, and yeah, all of that in our very first season in Formula 1. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more F125 My Team Career Mode content as we reach the end of the first season, and also check out the playlist and the previous episode in Monza, where it was an absolute disaster of a race. So we're going to try and hopefully bounce back from that disaster race that was the Italian Grand Prix. We're starting this video with the activity timeline. We did get that training point in the previous video, so we're going to put that on to our owner. And then for the engineering, I'm going to try and do some aero blitz, and then for the personnel, I think I'm going to do another aero focus session there, so I'm going to try and focus on the aero as we get ready for the regulation change in season number 2. However, big news.
Bad news, I'm afraid. They were dissatisfied with the terms we sent over. You'll have to let us know if you want to go back in for them. I'll await your word.
And this sequence leads us to the main topic of this video, driver talks for 2026. And yeah, it's time to start discussing about who will drive our car for 2026. We're currently in discussions with Nico Hülkenberg. He's got a 50% chance of signing, and his expectations of us are kind of, acceptable, I'd say. And I do believe if we do get an experienced driver like Nico Hülkenberg on our team, then that will do wonders for us in our short history in Formula 1.
Great news. They've accepted that contract and signed on the dotted line. We should celebrate. And make sure we figure out how to stop any leaks about it. Nice work getting this one over the line.
Well, that came as a bit of a shock and surprise. Franco Colapinto has accepted our contract, and he will be racing for us for 2026. So I believe Franco is already signed. Now we've got a very difficult ultimatum. Who do we go with for the second driver? Do we go for Callum Voisin? Do we go for Nico Hülkenberg? Or do we go for someone like Kimi Antonelli? Antonelli will get a buff eventually, I believe. I don't think he's got a buff in the current update that came out on last Monday, but I'm just trying to go through the driver market. As you can see there, you got Jack Dew in there, Ollie Behrman maybe, but Kimi Antonelli 76 overall for $4.47 million. And yeah, if we sign Kimi Antonelli alongside Nico Hülkenberg, that's an evolution.
I've reached out with a very early preliminary inquiry to their side. I'll let you know how it goes. Hard to get a read on it at the moment. These things are always fluid and move quickly, but if they're interested in us, I'm sure things will move a bit quicker.
So let's see where things go with talks with Kimi Antonelli as we progress in this episode of the My Team journey. We start with the activity timeline, level 2 on the development expansion on the aero. So I believe we've unlocked a new tier of aero upgrades, which is very important. And we've got a development failed, which is not good. However, we've got a message. Fernando Alonso is retiring from Formula 1, which means a seat at Aston Martin is vacant. So maybe in this timeline, Max Verstappen leaves Red Bull and goes to Aston Martin. Maybe, but all it takes is one driver move and that shakes everything up. So we've got to be very, very ready for what happens after the season's over, and we're going to try and react to the other teams. We've got driver psychologist at level 1, is that? I believe for the personnel, and that is phase 2 for the driver psychologist, so that is very important. Looking at the personnel phases, we've got, let's see, personal liaisons there, aero breakthrough, that's going to be level 3 soon. What else are we doing? Intel comms team, pit crew training. After the last race, we might actually do the pit crew training, try and get that to level 3, or maybe driver evolution. However, we do go and try and train our pit crew because we want them to be the best. However, speaking of the best, it's time for the race weekend at Baku.
And a warm welcome here ahead of qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Normally these streets are lined with vehicles, it's non-stop traffic jams, but today the roads are closed to everyone except the 20 best drivers in the world. It's time for qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
I'm not gonna lie, boys, just when it comes to me in the circuit so far, I'm not really, there yet with no line. It's probably one of the only tracks, maybe this, Singapore, and maybe a couple of others, maybe Qatar maybe, that I'm just not really up to speed with just yet. But I figure over time, as I race on this game, on this track, I will get eventually quicker with no line around Baku. And by the way, have they changed Baku? Was Baku one of the LiDAR scan circuits for F125? I have no idea. It feels like they've changed it, especially in the third sector, because these two corners coming up right here, they're more tightened than they usually are. So I don't know if the final sector's been redone, or if they've actually scanned Baku, or if that was last year. I have no idea. But pretty much coming in towards the second lap of qualifying, we do a 41.4 and we're in 20th. So we've out-qualified Ollie Behrman and Isaac Hadjar, but we're still behind Pierre Gasly and Kimi Antonelli as we start the final lap in qualifying. I could have really broke a little bit more earlier in towards turn 1 there, and we haven't gained that much time. Braking in towards turn 2, slightly missed the apex, went a little bit wide, a bit of understeer on the exit of that corner there, and you can just tell by how sensitive I am and how lenient I am on the brakes that I'm just not really up to speed with the first sector of Baku. But we've actually gained a tenth and a half going in towards the sector 2 there, and we've gained another half a tenth as we're now nearly 3 tenths ahead in towards this chicane here. And I feel like this sequence of corners, I get them kind of right. So on the exit again, another thousandths of a second, braking in towards this hairpin second gear, early shift into third. Again, another half attempt. So we're not really finding that much time as we enter the castle section. Very close to the wall there on the exit. Stay as right as you can, and we've gained 2 tenths there in the castle section. So that's a very good castle. So now as we enter sector 3, braking literally down the hill, very tricky braking point there. Getting so close to the wall, and we're not really finding any more time in towards the final corner. Hit the apex there. We've lost, I'd say, a thousandth there, but we've gained it on the exit. So now it's just about making. We've hit the wall there. As Verstappen, there's a 38.7. We're nearly 3 seconds away. 3 seconds away from matching Verstappen, but as we come across the line, it's going to be a just under 5/10 improvement of a 40.9, and that will put us in P18 for the race on Sunday. So kind of realistic as to where we are on the grid. Not really a decent qualifying there, but we've actually out-qualified our teammate there by, I think, a tenth. Verstappen does a 38.8, so we're still miles behind. Literally a tenth ahead of our teammate, and we've out-qualified Kimi Antonelli. So we've out-qualified a Mercedes once again.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku, and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today. So our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully out of the barriers. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers, and it's made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to a catastrophic consequence for any one of our drivers. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Stroll, George Russell and Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly, Bortoleto, Norris, Oscar Piastri and Hülkenberg, Albon, Voisin, Franco Colapinto and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Behrman, Hadjar, Doohan and Liam Lawson rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'd give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday. But in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
So here we are, welcome to the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it is going to be a one-stop for today's race, from the hards to the mediums. Very, very interesting. I thought it might have been a 2-stop race. But yeah, as you can see, most of the drivers today, including Max and Esteban Ocon there, are on the mediums. So Albon is on, most of the drivers are on the mediums, but Albon is on the mediums. But yeah, the 2 Ferraris, second and third, and yeah, not really a decent qualifying for the race, but we'll try and see if we can match the AI in the straight line speed.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres. As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can, and they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that within the...
So, here we go on the formation lap for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I don't really have any, decent expectations for this race, but I will say if we can finish maybe 15th or even... in the higher ends of the bottom half, that'll do wonders for us. And maybe if we can get lucky with a safety car, maybe we can finish 10th. But that is a long shot as we get ready for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Apologies to my throat. If I sound a little bit off there, I'm currently ill right now. Dealing with a very bad cold. But turn 1, a little bit tentative there as we exit. Turn 1 was side by side with Alex Albon, and we're a little bit boxed in there between Piastri and also Hülkenberg. The 2 McLarens of Norris and Piastri, they've not had a good qualifying session. They are 14th and 11th right now, and that's very weird considering that they've just came off a 1-2 at the Belgian Grand Prix this past weekend. So I need to rewatch that race as we go down the inside of Oscar Piastri. And that is very weird. We've overtaken a McLaren on the first lap of the Baku Grand Prix. So, yeah, we're kind of making positions, but usually with us in this season of my team, it's not really been a case of, first lap making positions. It's about keeping pace with the AI throughout the race. So, on the end of lap 1, we are currently in P13 as Charles Leclerc sets a 45.6, and he's currently in the lead. It's Ferrari 1-2 here. Is it Ferrari 1-2? No, it's Ferrari 1-3 at Baku, and they've really extended the gap to George Russell as we've getting overtaken by Nico Hülkenberg, and now, as you can see, Oscar Piastri is now overtaking us in towards turn 3. Do we fight it? No, we don't. We've got Alex Albon there coming after us, and now, as you can see, on the end of lap 2, on the massive straight, Alex Albon is now all over us, and we are keeping pace with Alex Albon there, but I think it's just simply because the battery, as we go a little bit deep there in towards turn 1, lose the back end there. I felt like I didn't need to fight. I didn't need to fight these guys. I should have just let them go and just try to just keep with the DRS. But as you can see, look at the battle between Piastri and Hulkenberg ahead of us as Albon once again overtakes us on the beginning of lap 4. However, we're going to fight back as Piastri and Hulkenberg, they're still going at it in towards turn 2, and because of that we are somehow retaining DRS as we slightly hit the wall on that curve there. As now on lap 5 we've got Kimi Antonelli who's overtaken Alex Albon, and now that Mercedes is going to blast past us. The Works Mercedes is going to blast past that Works Mercedes car as we absolutely send it, yeet it down the inside in towards turn 1. And yeah, that was the wrong play simply because I just wanted to fight these guys, but however, look at the straight line speed. Yeah, Kimi Antonelli in that Mercedes is just kind of ridiculous, and we are still nowhere near the pace of the Mercedes. So yeah, I think in this game, when it comes to car development, you're going to have to do at least 2 or 3 seasons if you really want to compete for the fastest car, because in this game I think the development is really slow, and I think AI are a little bit more faster when it comes to car development, especially by a race basis. Considering that in F1 2020, it pretty much take you 2 seasons. I don't think we're going to get the fastest car in 2 seasons, so it might take us 3 or even 4 seasons in order for us to really achieve that. But anyway, lap 11, we are getting hounded by Ollie Behrman there, and as you can see, our engine temperature is really hot right now, so we're suffering because of the dirty air, following the other cars, and we are down in towards P13. I believe Lance Stroll, I think Nico Hulkenberg, there's a couple of drivers who started on the mediums. I believe they're doing 2 stops, so maybe they're doing medium, hard, medium, or maybe some of them are doing the hard, medium. So we'll have to see how the race pans out. Anyway, lap 13, halfway through this race, and Lance Stroll has overtaken us for 14th place. We've got a yellow flag in towards what is that, sector 3, and we got a massive plume of smoke there. We lose the back end there, and that is Lance Stroll, an engine failure for the Canadian, and he's out of this race, and that does not bode well for us, considering that we also have a Mercedes engine. So yeah, that's not good, considering that we had a engine failure in the Italian Grand Prix in the previous race. So yeah, hopefully we don't get any DNFs today as we make our one and only stop for this race from the hards to the mediums. So hopefully we can try and pick up the pace as Piastri also boxes. And it's kind of weird seeing Piastri in the lower ends of the bottom half. And as you can see, the bottom left, the front left, and that's another issue that we've had. And I don't think we're going to get that resolved until we get level 3 for the pit crew training. And as you can see, look at the engine temperature right now, simply because we've been in so much dirty air. Yeah, we've been in so much dirty air that the engine's just too hot, and we just can't really do much. As we enter turn 1, we've jumped our teammate Franco Colapinto there, and now we're going to try and chase down Gabriel Bortoleto and also Ollie Behrman, who comes in on the next lap. And yeah, pretty much we seem to be losing our time pretty much in sector 1 and maybe even on the exit of sector 3, but as you can see, Behrman has jumped us here for P17 in this race as we do get DRS. However, Behrman is now going to shoot off, and we won't see him again in this race. We are sticking with him, even though he has now pulled the second on us. And yeah, as you can see, Nico Hulkenberg, he's boxing as well, so we're going to get another position, and that puts us into P17 for this race. However, we are pretty much nowhere as we enter lap 20, and now Nico Hulkenberg in the Kick Sauber is absolutely he's gained so much time on us, and as you can see now, this is going to be an easy pass, and there it is. So yeah, clearly the second half of this season has not been too kind to us, compared to the first half. And now lap 23, our teammate Franco Colapinto has overtaken us, and that is a rare sight. A rare sight in this My Team Career Mode series. Our teammate has actually overtaken us as we're going to try and set the fast lap. I mean, we're not going to score any points today, but I think the best thing that we can do is maybe set the fast lap and maybe try and get something out of this race weekend. Obviously, no more fast lap points, unfortunately, but it wouldn't count anyway since we're not in the top 10. However, another slow stop once again because of the front left, and that's cost us 1.5 seconds. And I just thought on lap 25, let's just get this pain and suffering over and done with. You know, we're not scoring any points. We're going to be literally last again out of the active front runners here. And yeah, so it looks like Verstappen is going to win once again in this F125 My Team Career Mode Series, and we're just going to wait for him to lap us there. And as you can see, yeah, Verstappen comes through. He's going to pass us now, and there it is. Verstappen wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it's another miserable weekend.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And in the end, there was no Verstappen. Max Verstappen, he takes victory.
And of course, what 3 race victories, a hat-trick of wins, does for a driver's confidence is huge going forward in the championship. You know, they've got the energy on their side now, and it's for the others to try and stop this progression of victories.
And once all the hard work is over, and after lap of brilliant racing, it's time now to celebrate with our podium trio. And for those that have missed the Dutch national anthem, fear not, it's back again, because Max Verstappen is back on the top step.
Bit of a rarity in real life to see Max Verstappen on the top step these days, but yeah, in this Career Mode Series, he is absolutely dominating the competition. Lando Norris actually got back into towards P3, so yeah, a very strong recovery drive for Lando Norris here today, and of course Charles Leclerc in second place. And yeah, we've still got, I'd say, a long way to go in this journey of my team to try and clinch glory. But as you can see, Verstappen in 41.5, and yeah, we were nowhere to be found all weekend long. Antonelli finished 12th there, and yeah, we were literally the last 2, and we were the only ones that got lapped. Piastri came back to 9th. Yeah, Gasly finished 11th, and yeah, again, just not a good weekend. Not a good weekend, and we're just on this very rough situation where we're just not really scoring points. We're not achieving what we were achieving at the start of the season, where we're getting 10th places, 9th places, and maybe the occasional 5th place. But maybe this is the whole point of season 1, where, you know, we're supposed to be, you know, the slowest team, you know, on the performance index. And, you know, this is what it's like, and we have to take our beatings and we have to take our bruises, and this is one of those cases where, you know, this is just where we are right now, and we have to deal with it. And yeah, until the season's over, we can't really make any more gains. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of races and in the next season. But speaking of next season, Nico Hülkenberg has accepted the contract, which means potentially next season, I believe, we're going to have Nico Hülkenberg and Franco Colapinto for season number 2. So that should be a very interesting drive lineup there as we get ready for the end of this season and we prepare for 2026. But that is that for the F125 My Team Career Mode Series. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more F125 Career Mode content, check out the playlist on the right, and check out one of my other videos on the left. Thanks for watching. If you smell what the Scouse wants cooking.